Good morning, Primary! Welcome to our first Primary News Network report in 2026. Today is January 4th. Today we'd like to recognize the primary class of 2025. Graduates, you have learned the songs of primary, the stories of the scriptures, and how to follow Jesus Christ. Because of that growth, you are ready to move on to the youth classes. Though please know that you are always welcome back in primary. You may choose to swing back for the treats. But don't forget, what happens in primary stays in primary. On behalf of your teachers and leaders, congratulations to the primary class of 2025. As a new year begins, so does a new focus for primary. This year, we will be studying the Old Testament, a record of prophets and others who listened to the Lord and followed him with faith. Please direct your attention to this previously recorded video from our very own Jake Despain. I'm standing in this beautiful Alaskan forest where the trees reach toward the sky and the sunlight dances through the leaves. It's a perfect place to think about God's creations and his love for each of his children. This year in primary, we're going to explore the Old Testament, the first part of the Bible. And what better way to start than by thinking about the beginning, the creation. In Genesis, we learn that God created the heavens and the earth, the land, the seas, the plants, and animals. Each part of his creation was carefully designed, and he looked at everything and saw that it was good. Just like this forest, every part of the creation has a purpose. The trees give shelter, the rivers and streams provide water, and the animals each play their part. Everything is connected and full of life, all part of God's loving design. As we read the Old Testament, we'll see that sometimes people make mistakes, but God's love never leaves them. He sends prophets to guide his children, make covenants, and promises a Savior, Jesus Christ, who is central to everything we read in the Old Testament. The Old Testament isn't just history. It's a story of God's love, guidance, and the ways we can follow him. Each story teaches us faith, obedience, and hope. And here we are, one of the largest trees in North America. It started growing around the year 1000 AD. That's over 1,000 years ago, when the Vikings were sailing across the Atlantic exploring new lands. So get ready, primary. This year we'll learn from the Old Testament, how to grow strong in our faith, follow God's plan, and feel his love every single day. Thank you, Jake, for that report. I hope you left no trace in those locations. This year, as we study the Old Testament, we'll learn about people who would have made great scouts, I have no doubt. Those who followed the scout oath and law, such as being trustworthy, brave, and prepared. A scout is trustworthy. Joseph was trustworthy, even when no one was watching. A scout is brave. Esther was brave when she stood up to save her people. A scout is prepared. Noah was prepared when he followed the Lord and built the ark, even when it didn't make sense. Speaking of being prepared, the Old Testament provides us stories of God preparing a people and a world for the coming of his Son, Jesus Christ. The ultimate guide to being prepared is the Old Testament. That might make a good book. I will admit, when I first heard Old Testament, I thought we were taking an old test and having a mint. Turns out it's even better than that. Well, this has been Primary News Network for our first newscast of 2026. Happy New Year and God bless. Signing off for now. Be prepared.